Welcome to The Konversation, the weekly show dedicated to helping you look, feel, and be your best self. I'm your host, Kaleaf like a leaf on a tree, and today I'm sitting down with none other than the official king of the Beyhive, Mr. Deron Jordan. We're talking all things concerning Beyonce, how he became the king of the Beyhive, meeting Michael Jackson and Beyonce, and I'm putting him to the test with some Beyonce trivia. All this and more coming up next on an all-new Konversation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the king of the Beyhive himself, Mr. Deron Jordan. Welcome to The Konversation. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am too good at this point. It's just a privilege to have you here in the studio. I see all your stuff online and everything, and I'm like, I wonder if I can get him on the show. And here we are.
Okay, God, won't he do it?
Won't he will? Yes, he will. If you don't mind just telling the listeners who you are, where you're from, and what do you do?
So my name is Deron Jordan. I am 31 years old, and I'm actually from Atlanta, Georgia. Born and raised. I am known online as the king of the Beyhive, and basically my job is to basically bring happiness to every Beyhive member that misses Beyonce, that is trying to figure out what's going on in her world, when is she going on tour, when is the album dropping, all things Beyonce, considering I am that go-to guy.
So today we're just talking about everything concerning Beyonce. So if you are a member of the Beyhive, you're in for a treat.
Yeah.
If you're not, what is wrong with you? Okay, I'm not going to judge you. But I just want, what is the story behind you becoming or being known as the king of the Beyhive? Because everyone I know that's a fan of Beyonce knows who you are. Mm-hmm. Everyone I know who's a fan of Beyonce pretty much follows you, like the mega fans.
Mm-hmm. So basically back in 2015, if you remember, the hashtag that went viral, Beyonce always on beat.
That's where I first was introduced to, yeah.
Right. So I, along with iComplexity, who still does a lot of mashups, and Mella Yella, who is now working for, I believe he works for Sony or MCA, like he's huge now. But we all used to post videos of us, making Beyonce dance to whatever song that was hot at the moment, or that we felt like we could actually potentially just create, and those things went viral quickly. And for me, my page just started to blow up just simply from that. But I wanted people to know how much of a fan I was. So I started to not just post edits, but I would also let people know, little things here and there from what I was told from people that are close to Beyonce and people that have been around her. I would just start to post things, and it really wasn't until 2018 when Everything Is Love came out. Before that, I was known as Prince of the Beyhive. People just was calling me Prince. And then someone told me that Beyonce and Jay-Z was coming out with an album. And so without me spilling the tea, I wanted to let my followers know, hey, you might want to, be aware something is happening soon, very soon. And it was the week that it was coming out. And then also, they were on tour. They had just started the On the Run 2 tour. And people were saying, when is the album coming out? When is she coming out with an album? And so I let people know that there was something very soon coming out. And the moment that it dropped, I can't even explain to you the DMs, the calls, it just blew up. And people immediately, I got on live and I didn't say a word. I just looked at people like on my phone, and everyone was like, King, you're king, king. So people started calling me king of the Beyhive from that point. And so ever since then, it just stuck. So.
Wow. Do you remember where you were the moment Beyonce first dropped the self-titled album?
Of course. Child, let me tell
what were you doing? Because I have my own.
You have your own story?
Yes.
Okay, mine isn't really exciting, but it is what it is. I was literally in the bed, and I was talking to somebody who will remain anonymous because they don't matter no more. But anyway, we were talking, and all of a sudden, They said, we're like, it's like 12 o'clock at night. And
Mhm.
so and they were like, Beyonce just did something. And I said, what her? I said,
Mm.
what do you mean she just did something? So I'm going online and I see Instagram and I'm like, oh, Beyonce got a documentary and she's just talking and all these pictures. And I'm like, oh, wow, what is this? I'm like, this is cool. What is she coming out with? Not knowing
That it was the
that it was
album.
out. And so I said, let me go to Facebook. So I went to Facebook and it said 14 songs, 14 video, all these out now. And I said, oh my gosh. And I literally just started screaming at like 12 o'clock in the morning. Did not go to sleep until 4 o'clock that morning because I had to watch every single video twice.
Yes.
And I had
And
to
there
go
were,
to
remember, it
work.
was just a short clip, so
Yes.
you couldn't see. Oh my goodness.
Had to delete the Bible. Had to delete all my. I had to delete Facebook. I said I'll look at that tomorrow. Like anything huge, I had to delete because I had to make room for Beyonce.
Wow. So I remember that day so well because it's a day that I will never forget. I remember I was up late watching tons and tons of Beyonce videos just because I'm a Beyhiver.
Of course,
So
that's what we do.
I just was doing that because it's like I mean, I don't know how long I've been doing that. Not my whole life. Whenever the internet came around, I was obsessed. I remember I used to be obsessed with the Ego video because it was such good quality back then. And now it's like, oh, wow, it's like 360. That day was December 13th,
period,
2013. And I was watching so many videos because I was like, I have to make sure I know every song because I was going to see her that same day. I'm on my computer and I just start shaking. I'm like, oh, Beyonce just dropped the album. Beyonce just dropped the album. I was like, we were trying to learn the short little lyrics because it was like, what is she gonna perform? Is she gonna perform something from the album? Oh my gosh, that was the first time I ever saw that woman. I had no idea she was so bootylicious.
Yes.
And it is not one of them like stripper booties type thing, but it's just all natural.
It is.
But the Lord, where was I going? I mean, that concert, the Mrs. Carter show, people.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have had a camera, but I also don't because I remember the time she said to someone, "Put that damn camera down."
Yes.
And I didn't have a phone, so I couldn't videotape. All I have is the feelings and the memories of it. So it was such an experience to not see any of the concert before anything. Right. It was such a beautiful experience. That's why I will never forget that day.
I know you won't.
But I just want to know, why do you think people love Beyonce so much?
I always explain this to new Beyhive members and ones that we like to call them WASP. All of the Deron Hive, all of my followers, they know what the WASP are, who the WASP are. But
fraudulent.
Yeah, fraud. But no, what I always tell them is you have to think about the legends before her. Think about Prince. Think about Michael Jackson. Think about people who, especially Michael, think about when they started out. They started out in a group. Young. Diana Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Michael. They all started very young. And what ended up happening was those lead singers were put out in front for a reason because they were the ones that you wanted people to follow. Mm-hmm. So what ends up happening is when you start out young and you have a talent as big as Michael, as big as Diana Ross, as big as someone that's in a group like Beyonce and Destiny's Child, when they branch out on their own, you've grown up with that person. Mm-hmm. You have you remember your first love, your first heartbreak. You remember all the songs that matched your childhood with that person. That's why so many people love Michael Jackson, because everyone remembers Never Can Say Goodbye. Our parents remember Never Can Say Goodbye, but I remember the time in my childhood. And so when I grew up, I just loved Michael Jackson for who he was. Same thing with Beyonce. Beyonce, you had No. You had Bills when your other did not pay for his stuff that he ran up on your card. You know?
It's interesting you say that because I had to learn about Destiny's Child because I'm a part of that. Not learn. Yeah, I did have to learn about. They came out in '98.
Yes.
So did I.
Oh. oh, look at God.
Yeah, so
Oh, you're
I
such
had
a
to
baby.
discover
That's
them, right?
amazing.
So honestly, my first memory of Beyonce is
Uh-huh.
not Destiny's Child.
Okay.
My first memory,
Yeah.
it's all nostalgic when you really think about it, the things that make these artists so impactful. My first memory is my sister was a cheerleader, and we heard the little uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Wow.
And that was my first time ever like experiencing it. So we
Beyonce.
was like, do the uh-oh dance. We didn't know, because we didn't have the internet, so we couldn't look this stuff up back then. So all the post-2000s people, children or whatever. But
Yeah.
it was so like, that was our song. And I still go back to that same, well, sometimes I go back to that. Sometimes I go to the music video. Because honestly, I feel like when you listen to Beyonce, you are Beyonce.
You are.
Like, there's nothing like stopping me. Like, if I could sing some of them notes, I would. But
and you have to also remember Beyonce reinvents herself every few years, and people love that. She's the only, and I'm sorry, you can say what you want to, but she's the only artist that constantly gives you a surprise element, whether it's a surprise tour announcement, whether it's a surprise album drop. And the way that she goes about doing those things, no one else matches it. I'm sorry. I know other people try to do it, but it doesn't.
The newer artists.
Yeah, which I don't understand, Kaleaf. I don't understand, if you're a new artist, how can you drop a surprise album and no one knows who you are?
Surprise.
I don't understand.
You're listening to The Konversation with Kaleaf.
Do you remember the day?